Hey guys, Be Twice here. Today is Wednesday, June 30th, last day of the month. Uh, Looks like we got to see a little bit of sector rotation a little bit today, and one sector outperforming the others, continuing to keep the market a little bit elevated. Um, but let's take a look at what we're going to see going forward, or what we could potentially see going forward. So, taking a look at SPY, I still think we're looking for this wave one top. Um, we could have potentially had a bottom here. So if this ends up being bottom and we keep continuing going to all-time highs, I will not be taking a trade in SPY because it's just not worth the risk. The risk reward up here is just not good. We want to see this three-way pullback, and I'm hoping we will see this. But if we don't see this, I will not be taking a trade. If we do see it, we still could potentially be coming down to this 425, 424 range. That's a good buy spot if we can see a three-way move down. If we don't and we continue going to all-time highs, I simply would just stay out of it until we can get a better idea of exactly where it's going. So ultimately, what we want to see here is just a little bit of a pullback so we can dip our feet in. All right, so QQQ. So we've already started a correction. I see this as being our wave one top, and we're pulling back for two. It's ultimately going to be a very, very shallow two, at least I think it is, unless we go into a complex correction. With that, the reason I say that is because we did start to correct this morning. We pulled down for our A, we popped up for our B, and when you take the extension off of B to see where your wave C price target is, it tells you it's somewhere between 353 and 352. So pretty shallow. It's still a good dip buy because no matter what, if we hit these levels, we should at least see a three-wave move up to take us back to like the 355 range. So you could pull some weeklies or something if we were to get as low as like 352. That'd be a good buy spot. And even honestly, even if we completely bottom here, we could be ripping up into the 360s. So there's a good chance, based on the strength that we're seeing in other sectors of the market and the fact that there are some other tech names that look like they're getting close to bottoming and rallying. Amazon being one. Tesla, I think, is going to rally very soon. And then you have the likes of like AMD that's just doing face ripping rallies left and right. Because of that, I do ultimately think that it's going to end up being another one of these shallow pullbacks. I was kind of hoping for a bigger one for us to get into somewhere in the 350 range, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. We should still see a five wave down. It looks like we might have already had a one and a two. And that we're in the process of going to be a wave 3, 4, 5 down to get to our C price target. So I do ultimately think that if we do get an impulse down tomorrow and we see QQQ get to like this 352 range somewhere in here, I would be buying this dip. All right, so another an ETF I want to take a look at. So today we saw some strength out of the industrial sector. There's been a lot of sector rotation going on, and I think this may be the next sector that's gonna kind of rip here over these next couple weeks. So basically, what I'm seeing is that we pulled up for our wave five and we peaked, which was ultimately a wave three. So we were looking for our wave four price targets. Generally, wave four ends somewhere between the 23.6 and the 38.2. So we've checked the box for this being potentially bottom a couple weeks ago because we touched the 23.6. So another confirmation of that is we actually look at our correction itself and we try to figure out what is our wave C price target. Because at least at wave C, we should at least have a three-wave move to the upside before more downside can occur. So we pull back for A, we go A, B, C for a B, and we're looking for a C price target. So you take an extension down to A and you extend it off of where B is, right? And then you look for the 100% or the 161.8. So technically speaking, if it would have gone all the way down to 97, that would have basically been the 161.8. But we did hit the 100%. So there still could be some more downside coming if we get rejected up here and go straight lower. If the market's completely correct, we could be seeing that downside. But I ultimately don't think that is happening. I do think that this is going to be the next sector that gets hot for a little bit. So with that being said, what I'm seeing is that we've bottomed for C, we've popped up for one, and we pulled back for two, and now we're in a wave three. We're actually in a yellow wave three of this purple wave three of the wave five. The wave five should get somewhere. It could be 115. Somewhere in that ballpark. But I do ultimately think that this wave three is going to take us somewhere between 105 and 107. So our any dip is buy here on this name, and ultimately we're going to be looking for 105 to 107 here in these next couple weeks. All right, so Disney is another name that I've been screaming about here for these last couple weeks. We broke out of this bull flag. We had a three-wave move down to put us back in it, but ultimately I think we popped it for one, pull back for a two. I think we popped it for another one, and we're in the process of coming down for two. We were able to hold the 61.8. We went a little bit below, a little bit deep past it, but we held it, and now we've rallied back out of the bull flag, showing some strength today. Um, I do really like that, and ultimately I do think we're heading for this 195 range, and I do think we're going to be getting there sometime before earnings. So this is a great name to hold right now. I do think we're going to be seeing some serious strength out of this in these next couple weeks. All right, so let's look at Coinbase. This is one of the names that I kick myself for miscounting and missing a massive move to the upside. So when I counted it before, anybody who's seen these videos saw that I had my A marked as a 2, and I was looking for this rally to take us up to 280 and hoping to catch the the moonshot, which happened over here, and I ultimately missed it. So I counted this as being the entire correction, and I was wrong. This was the A. We popped up for a B, and then we pulled all the way back down for our C. It was very, very deep, but our wave two ended here. So we've got a confirmation our wave two ended here as we pop back above the top of wave one. We had a 1, 2, and the other day when I posted this video, I had these lines drawn on here of where I thought it was going. I figured we'd get somewhere around 254, that we'd pull back to like 242, and that anywhere on this dip down here is where we wanted to buy. So today I made my entry because I saw in pre-market today that it was pulling back significantly and that it actually hit 246. So when I actually looked at this entire move upwards, I looked at it and said, okay, cool. 246 might ultimately be the bottom, and I'm going to show you why I think that that could have been the bottom and why I got in. So if I take a retracement from wave 2 up to the top of this is my wave 3, you can see we actually touched the 38.2 today. So with that being said, I'm calling this wave 3. This is my bottom for wave 4, and ultimately we're going to be going up to 278. We still could go a little lower. We could have had an A, a B, and pull a little bit lower. If we do pull a little bit lower, that's a blessing, and I would definitely be buying this dip because I do think we're going to be seeing this 280 range here in these next couple weeks. Okay, so we're going to take a look at Airbnb. So Airbnb was another name that, hey, it was showing a lot of strength with this uptrend. It broke it yesterday, and I got stopped out. And then it showed a huge amount of strength today getting back in. So I'm going to keep watching it. I'm still not going to get back in just yet. You know, obviously when we pulled out right here, I had a very, very little loss, and I saw us possibly going as low as 137. And that's why I took my exit when it pulled down to here. Ultimately, it caught support and it popped right back into this zone. So we want to see it actually go above this downtrend line. If we can get above this downtrend line and show some strength, then I'll possibly get back in this name. But for now, I'll keep it on the watch list just to kind of see where it's going to go from here. But today, pulling, you know, a 5% gain shows some huge strength. I think I probably want to see it above 155. If we can get above 150, 155 is probably where I'll start considering taking another entry on some dips. The last one we're going to look at today is Autodesk. So Autodesk, I actually did analysis on this the other day, just the same time I did Disney, that it was showing some serious strength. It broke out of this triangle to the upside, and today we had a retest of the trend line, which is great. So I took my entry today. We got out of it. We had our pullback, and then when we pulled back here today, that was a great entry. Hopefully, we'll see it rip up to somewhere in the 320 range. From there, it'll probably pull back to closer to 300. Then ultimately, we're going to be making our move to 350. So this dip buy was great just because of the fact that we could be seeing 320 here in short order. If we do ultimately completely fall back into this range beneath this trend line, we'd really want to be smart about our cut losses because technically it could come right back in and then coil for a while before launching back out. So we'll want to watch this, but I do think that today's dip was a great entry. All right, guys, if you like these videos, go ahead and hit like and subscribe.